our known suffering feels familiar to us. And sometimes we prefer the suffering that's familiar over something different that we don't know. So for us to let go of our current states of suffering, we have to let go of our attachment to that suffering. We have to let go of our identity that's wrapped up in that suffering. And we have to be willing to lean into things that are a little bit uncomfortable so then we can sort of move beyond it. So it's almost like if you imagined there was this sort of permeable energetic wall around your life, your boundaries of belief right now. And you can walk through that wall, but it's really thick and maybe kind of uncomfortable, but you just have to lean into it. And then when you get through the other side, there's freedom. But there's a discomfort that comes in breaking free of and letting go of our old ways of being that aren't serving us anymore, that are feeding our cycle of suffering, so that we can then be liberated from those chains. Because we're human, then what we do is we basically create a new boundary. So we move beyond the old boundary into a new space. And then we have boundaries that our mind sets up around that new belief system or that new reality that we're in. So when we feel resistance in doing something that can help us, it is very helpful to recognize that oftentimes the things that we have the most resistance around are the ones that will actually help us the most, because that resistance is an indicator that we're clinging to something that's causing us suffering. And we're afraid to let go. We have belief systems. There are reasons that we're not wanting to let go of that. But can we get into a place where we reframe the experience of that resistance? And rather than labeling it as bad or undesirable or scary, we can notice when we feel resistance and then get excited, because in that resistance, we are now being given the opportunity to be aware of the places that are keeping us stuck in our life, that are keeping us from moving forward in the ways that we want to move forward. Because if you didn't have resistance there, you would move beyond the suffering. Okay? So it's the resistance that you're coming up against that then you're backing away from. That's a key clue that that's a really good place for you to work. And if you can work that angle and start to dissolve that resistance, you will then be able to step into a new experience of yourself, and you'll have freedom in a different way. You'll have a new experience of your life in that way. I'm going to invite you to be aware, be mindful of your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions and the general experiences that you're having. Because as you become aware, as you pay attention on purpose, in a particular way, non-judgmentally, in the present moment, you then create the ability within yourself to be able to observe the dynamics that are going on in your mind, in your internal world. And as you train yourself to, number one, observe, number two, stop judging. Stop judging them as good or bad. Just watch and notice. And then there's a difference between assessing or discerning whether something's helpful to you or not helpful to you, and judging. Judging is different. Judging is engaging with I like that and I don't like that, which has to do with resistance. So the fact of the matter is things are happening, and whether you resist them or not, they're still going to be happening in this moment.